We've had a very pleasant couple of days at Lymm. Unlike most places, it actually has a sign up saying 48 hours. So we had 2 days with the camera shy family group. Sampled a few beers, of which I'll show you the bottle what my brother-in-law brought, or should have said quite a few bottles. Only 6.5%, so it wasn't that bad. yeah. So yeah, a couple of good nights out as well. You know, we went the where I recommend to everybody, the brewery tap, sampled a few fine beers, and it was very good. And now we're off again, but this time we won't be turning round like we did last time you saw us coming through Lymm. We're continuing a little bit further. This is where we turned round last time we was coming up to Lymm, but we're on our way past now. I think we have the call of Dunham Massey. Not too far. Well, I think it's the last part of the really scenic areas of the Bridgewater, and then it's all change. The one thing you can be pretty sure of, it's hard to hit the sides going under the bridges on the Bridgewater, because they're designed for wide beams, so a narrowboat gets through very easily. But if you go on some other canals what are designed, you know, the narrow canals, you've only got a 6 inches either side when you're going through, but these are very, very wide, so you don't really have to think too much about it. It's always a sad sight when you see a boat what's sunk, and there's another one. We've seen a couple on this trip. It is well and truly gone under. I wonder if the owner knows about it. Yeah, that's a pity. That doesn't look in bad condition. Something dramatic's happened there. That one will be gone for good, definitely. Never to be floating along again. Very sad. There's a bit of everything in this next little stretch. We've got a little place here where the paint boats, that's on the right. A few years ago we was coming past, and lo and behold, our little 45 footer we had, that was being repainted. Directly to your right now it was. The good thing is the same paint scheme, so they must have thought my my designs were good, or Bernadette's as well, because they kept it exactly the same colours. Now to your right here is the Burn Owl Inn. Gets very popular on occasions, and we've never been in yet. This is where Mike Christian boats are in the water or on the side. Yes, they never seem to be short of doing business, that's for certain. On the Bridgewater as well, you see a lot of these cranes with all the wood at the side, or the sleepers. It's because it's a wide canal, they need heavy sleepers, and they just crane in. And I'll just move my video, there's a gap, you can see a little gap there. They are what are used to block off the canal if there's something what needs draining off. This definitely looks a very friendly place. Mind you, there's a lot of boats there, so access is restricted. And you've got to be very, very careful. No second chances here if you're caught. This is a very, very handy water point at Bollington Wharf. Doesn't look much, it's just a mooring for a very, very old pub. Then you say, is it? Well, not really. Many, many years ago, coal was dropped off here. This was one of the main wharfs on the Bridgewater, and this was where they unloaded coal. So it doesn't look that much, but it's very, very historic. Just near the moorings on the wharf is the pub, the old number 3. Very, very old, been there for a long time. And it got its name because it was the 3rd stopping point on the coaching route. So yes, very, very historic. Well, here's another sunken boat as well. We're certainly seeing more than the normal share. That's 3 on this trip. We are setting off from Massey. That was a very quiet mooring. It's probably the last of the very scenic areas for a while now. Shortly it all changes. Now at Massey, there's a nice pub called the Swan with 2 Nicks. It's particularly nice if you've got animals, because I've never ever seen a pub where I think the dog takes priority. But that's a little walk in the village via an underpass. What's an underpass? Well, that actually just goes under the canal. Instead of a bridge over, it goes under, and there's a few round here. And probably on our journey back we will show you what it looks like, but for now it's a very early start as we make our way towards Sale. Dunham Massey Mansion, that's how you can describe it, because it's quite big. That's one of the National Trust places you can go now. But on the estate there, during World War II, that's where they housed the prisoners of war. It's amazing, isn't it, what you find out when you do a little bit of research. Where we're going along now, a few years ago we got one of the I would say the biggest things we've ever had on our propeller. It got wrapped round it, and it was the full boat canvas. Just stopped us dead around here, and we had to go to the left to you know, we bow thrust over and just made it. The only trouble is all the ground's concrete on the left, and you can't put pins in or out, so we had to hold the rope while I got all the canvas out. Yeah, strange what gets in the water sometimes. On the Bridgewater as well, you do tend to have a different sort of it's hard to describe them as marinas as we know them, but they seem to have places for boats how I could describe as a bit more unusual than the normal. Very soon we'll be coming into sail properly, what I call it. It looks like somebody has just got a pencil line and just done it. There's no bends or anything, it's just completely straight. Also, as well, you'll be able to see a couple of what look like cruise ships on the canal as well. I'll try to show you that. It comes alive sail, particularly at weekends, with rowing as well as all the runners and the cyclists. It can get quite lively. Looks like another old building is being knocked down to provide the modern housing. The lino type works, not that long ago, used to do printing. I know it's hard to believe now, but they certainly did. It's called like a letterpress type, but we might be losing it. As we start off coming into sail, just on the right there's some flats, but to me they look like big cruise ships what have almost reversed into the canal. You should be able to see it more, you know, clearer when we get further down. Told you we was having a change of scenery, and this certainly is. In an earlier vlog I did say that the Bridgewater is split into two halves, and the second half has started. Very little scenery. There is some, but nothing on the scale of the first half when you're coming from Preston Brook. Also, and we've gone over quite a few things. Don't know what they are, but we've felt them, so we have to go very slow. As usual, that's another one of our vlogs or videos done. Don't forget, I don't always say it, but you can subscribe, you can share, we value your comments, you can like, you can dislike. Doesn't really matter to us, because we're not after, you know, we're not after anything, and it doesn't matter if you dislike or like. It means we get somebody viewing our channel. That's it, and we're happy with that. So yes, that's it, done, dusted, and we'll go and put the kettle on and have a brew. So for now, as usual, see you next time. Ta-ra.